Hello everyone and welcome back. This is Into the Dungeonverse episode 22 with me, your host and guide, Mr. Adam. This show is brought to you by NewMinds.tv and Masters of the Dungeonverse. Thank you for tuning in today. I hope you're excited to continue our interactive quest here in the Star Wars universe. I'm going to recap us briefly on what happened last time, hit the rules just for a second, and then continue on. If this is your very first Into the Dungeonverse episode or interactive quest, what I recommend for you is to pause this video, save it for later, go all the way back to episode 6 where our interactive quest begins. That's because there are a lot of different items, skills, knowledge, and activities that you have access to by going through those, and it'll help you understand where we're at now. And since all of these videos are saved for us at newminds.tv and in playlists on our Facebook page, it's very easy for you to go back and start the journey and then catch up to us and then continue on. If you're here with us and ready to go, I think we should go ahead and hop right into it. You know that Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday is our interactive quest. On Friday, we have our roleplay resources, and yesterday, we had our start the week with story time. So let us get into the featured program for today. Welcome back to our quest. You know that we have different methods of randomization that we use. We can toss a coin, we can use standard dice like D6s, six-sided die that you find in Sorry, Yahtzee, and other board games that you might have around the house. The D20, which is so commonly used in Pathfinder or Dungeons & Dragons, D20-based systems. And you can also use the randomization table that we have available for you as a PDF. I'll show you a sample of that in just a second. Our difficulty table is as follows. Whenever there is a challenge, I will pop this up for you so that way you can see whatever difficulty is relevant to the particular challenge that you are on. Now, if you want to pause right here and take a picture, you can use this for your own games, or you can just have it to reference for later on. So there's that available for you. And there's the randomization table that I talked about. You can pause, take a picture, or pause and draw your own. And all you have to do is toss something or anything on it, kind of without looking. Don't try to aim at the critical success, unless it's really hard. In that case, you can do that. But you toss on the table and let that determine what the success or failure of your action is. It's just a neat way of randomization that we can throw in there. And of course, you can always come up with your own rules if you have something you want to do. Maybe you want to make it more physical and stand on one leg for 30 seconds while balancing a pencil on the tips of your fingers. You can do that. It's your game. I'm just telling part of the story. You are helping fill in the rest. So keep that in mind as we go through this. And here's a sample character sheet. Remember to record everything that happens, or at least some of the things that happen, as you will forget a lot of it. There is so much that happens in each one of these episodes, and we already have a good handful of these. We've been to Greece, we've been to a standard fantasy realm, and now we're in Star Wars. So you gain skills and abilities and items. Make sure you write those down because they may come in handy later. Maybe you just make a little comic book and you keep track of it like that. However you do it, this is for you, so make sure that it works for you. And then there's a sample character sheet template that you can use at your own discretion. We do have that available as a PDF as well. Alright, time to recap our story and get right back into it. Last time you had spent most of your sessions trying to find where this distress beacon was coming from. Someone had contacted you from this strange space within the Dungeonverse. You went to a planet after some other trials, and you finally found what you believe was the source of your distress signal originally. And during an epic clash between a Jedi and a Sith, a Jedi passed you their lightsaber, brought down a temple, and called out to you in the Force, in your head, to go and complete this task. You now have a lightsaber, and you had to flee on a speeder. You finally made it to a temple being pursued by the Sith and their minions. And finally, you got to your target. It was right around the corner. It was a strange device in which you could insert the lightsaber, and when turning it on, it pulled you to somewhere else. It was a peaceful place with the hum of civilization, unlike the fringe planet that you were just on. And up ahead at the top of the stairs, you saw two figures sparring, practicing their lightsaber play. One wielding a green lightsaber, one that looked very familiar, and the other wielding a blue lightsaber. They spar for a moment longer and then separate. And you recognize with a twirl of the blue lightsaber wielder's robes, that was the Sith that was chasing you just a moment before. But she looked very different. As all of these thoughts are rushing through your head, and as you're considering the implications of what has just happened to you, you feel the lightsaber on your hip kind of vibrate a little bit, as if it's reacting to something nearby. And you're going to see the brown-robed figure look at you, directly at you, as if she has sensed your presence. And now we will continue our story. A familiar face approaches. You see the young woman approach, and she looks younger than she did when you last saw her just, maybe 10-15 minutes ago during that great battle with the Sith. And she walks up to you and she says, "I sense a connection to you in the Force." And maybe you're about to tell her everything about what has just happened, but she puts up a hand and she says, "But wait, I believe we should speak somewhere else. Follow me." And you begin to follow this robed figure. Or maybe you are going to try to tell her to stop, but she just goes ahead and heads off. And she's walking through the city. And as you walk away from the temple and get further towards the populated areas, you hear the buzzing of machinery kind of get louder. And you can see that there's traffic. There are vehicles moving along the ground, but there are even more moving through the skies in these different lanes. And the robed figure is going to look over their shoulder every once in a while, check to make sure you're there, and continuing to lead you through the city. You're going to be almost assaulted by a myriad of smells and sounds. You might be overstimulated by all the beeps and the bangs and the buzzes and the crashes that is just the sound of this city. And as you look around for the, where the city ends, you don't see that. Is this whole planet a city? From what you can see right now, it might be. You continue following her through the streets. She deftly moves in and out of the crowds. Maybe you bump into some people, maybe you're able to follow as well, until eventually you get to a point that's almost like a bridge. And down below, there's a lot of traffic passing through you, or passing underneath you and passing by. And you're going to see the figure. She's stopped there, and she says, "We're almost there. If you look just above my shoulder, there's a tower with the green lights. That's our destination. But I'm curious, stranger, can you keep up?" She's going to smirk slightly before she steps backwards off of the platform, and you see her plunge into the city below. You then see her rise back up, and she is on top of a vehicle. And she gestures, saying, "Come on, follow me." So now, here's our first challenge of the day. What are you going to do? Are you going to follow her path, jumping from car to car, taking the destinations that she showed? Are you going, jumping from traffic here, jumping from traffic there at the same time, kind of following her lead? Are you going to attempt to beat her, find your own path? Maybe there is a vehicle that's going to get up there a little bit quicker, or an exit that you can take? Or are you going to just stare in befuddlement and wait until a vehicle pulls up and offers you a ride? Are you going to get a taxi? So you have three choices. You can follow the path that she is laying out for you. She's taking a moment to pause before moving on to the next lane, so that way you have plenty of time to see and catch up. Or you can find your own path, try to beat this young Jedi who is testing your abilities, or wait and get a taxi. Go ahead and make your decision. If you don't know what it is, take a moment to pause, as we are going to continue on to our story, or to the results. So here is the difficulty and result for this challenge. If you follow her path, this is a medium difficulty. If you fail this, you're going to get bumped, take a bad fall, or something is going to happen, and you're going to lose an item of your choice. So you can look at your item list of all those items you've collected, and you can choose one to mark off. You do not have it anymore. So make your decision there. If you succeed, though, you don't lose any items. You arrive shortly after she does, and she seems happy that you followed along and that you were able to get there with no issue. So that's a medium difficulty. Our next option is finding your own path. This is where you're trying to get ahead of her and get there before she does. If you fail, you're going to be blindsided by a vehicle. You didn't see a lane, and you're actually going to be taking out all of your hit points down to 0, and you're going to have to try again. The nature of your hero, you're known as a sleeper, right? You have the ability to wake up after failing a task, after being defeated at the last point that you had slept. For you right now, this is actually going to be the start of this episode. It's working a little bit strangely. You're not going back to when you last woke up, but to when you just entered this realm. So if that was it for you, if you failed this hard difficulty challenge, go ahead and pause it and roll back to the beginning of the episode, or roll back to the beginning of this challenge, since this is the first chance that you have to make a decision. If you succeed, though, you're going to get there before her, and she's going to tell you that, I think that you could possibly learn the Ataru Striker method. We'll have to discuss this. You have all the prerequisites with your agility. So that is hard. And our last option, get a taxi. This is if you wait, or maybe you instinctively raise a hand trying to flag someone down, and a taxi will pull up. If you fail, this is very easy, but there is a chance for failure. If you fail, the taxi is just going to refuse to pick you up. You could try again with another taxi, or you can try to follow her path, or find your own path. That's if you fail. If you have to take multiple taxis, she's going to be very impatient by the time you get there. If you succeed, you're going to get there well after she has arrived, not very quickly compared to had you taken the path that she took, or taking your own, but you are going to get there nice and safely. There's no chance of anything bad happening, except you are going to learn more about the taxi driver's family than you ever imagined you could know. Small little bits of information like, oh, my Ellie, she's a great artist. I got her a 24-pack of space markers, and she's worked them all down to where there's barely anything left. I think she's going to be a famous artist one day. And the other day, she came up to me and she said, Dada, and that's what she calls me. She calls me Dada. And anyway, and you're almost curious how they're able to focus on the road with as much as they're talking to you. And you are finally let off where you are, or where at your destination, with enough information to write a biography on this taxi driver. And now you are at the top of this building with your Jedi contact. You see her waiting for you, or maybe you got there first. And she's going to say, I apologize for... She seems to be more serious now. She says, I apologize for my test. I wanted some time to read you with the Force. And you seem strange, but I do not believe that you mean me any harm. Now, I know, she looks down at the lightsaber, that lightsaber belongs to me. But she holds hers up, but I have mine. So could you perhaps explain how this is possible, and why I feel the Force surrounding you? How do you respond? Do you tell her everything? Do you relay all the information as quickly, as accurately as you can? Do you want to leave any of it out? It appears that she was friends with the person who's a Sith. Is that good information for her to know? Do you want her to hear that? You can choose how you tell her. Maybe you don't tell her anything. Maybe you kind of keep this secret. But after a moment, the data pad that's attached to the lightsaber you have is going to begin to buzz. And then a light is going to shine out of it. A hologram will appear, and you are going to see an older, more grave-looking Jara Khan standing there, which I apologize. She hasn't introduced her name yet, but I just gave it to you. She says, my name is Jara Khan. I'm a knight at the academy. I've been recently appointed. It's good to meet you. And this is when the hologram of Jara Khan appears. Like I said, older and a little more grave in appearance. And she says, stranger, and myself, I have information for you regarding Zeldra. You see Jara Khan next to you kind of perk up. Zeldra. It is not but a few days from now that Zeldra falls to the dark side, irrevocably and suddenly. I believe that she interacts with something that causes this. Stranger, thank you for everything you have done. If you're listening to this message, That means that I was not able to be here myself, and that I must rely on you. And I'm so sorry to have to give so much to you without ever meeting you or being able to properly thank you. So I hope that my present self that you are with is being more than courteous. And if she is not, I hope she reconsiders her actions. But let me tell you what I need from you, because I have discovered information. Zeldra was sent to a planet, and you're gonna see her rotate her hands, and then this whole map moves and rotates, and you're gonna see the planet you're on and a path being mapped to a planet that's further away. In just a few days, Zeldra will be sent to this planet, and once she arrives, she will never return the same. Those that are with her will not come back. They will have been defeated or consumed by this darkness, and Zeldra will return with a darkness in her that cannot be tamed. I need you, stranger, and I need you, past me, to stop this. I have given everything I can to make this possible, and I have finally found the device that I need to get us back. And though I cannot be there, I know that you will do all that you can to restore this balance within her. Please, complete this task, and may the Force be with you. And the hologram is going to close. Jara Khan that's standing next to you is going to appear to be very tense now. Very serious, and she's going to turn and look at you. I apologize even more for my foolish test that I gave you. That was a waste of time and disrespectful. Thank you for everything that you have done thus far. I hate to ask it, but it seems that I am still in need of your help. I need to get to this planet. But future me apparently believes that you are necessary to this. Will you come with me? Will you help me save Zeldra? She is a good Jedi. She has great potential. She does not deserve to fall to the dark side. Maybe your character is conflicted by this. Maybe your character really just wants to get back to your timeline, get back to your ship. Remy is still battling ships in the air as you're doing this, to your knowledge. Maybe you're done with this whole adventure. But you know deep down in your heart that you do need to continue. You need to help her with this quest, because this is what you are for, is to eliminate these curses that have spawned from that monster that you've been chasing. So whether it's begrudgingly, whether it's eagerly, whether it's with confidence and reassurance, you will eventually agree to go with her, and she will begin to hatch out a plan. We need to get on a ship immediately, as quickly as we can. A ship that's going to the Outer Rim, where this place is. So she's going to lead you to a vehicle, a taxi. You're going to take it. If the taxi driver is talkative, like the one that you might have gotten, you're going to see Jara Khan wave her hand and say, "You do not wish to speak to us. You wish to only focus on driving." And the person's going to say, "I don't really want to talk to you. I just want to focus on driving." And they're going to focus on driving. And she will continue to go through her plan. You're going to get closer and closer to the spaceport, where all the ships can take off from. It's a very large tower in which the ships can take off from multiple directions. As you approach from the higher level, and you're going to see some very sophisticated vessels and ships. You might get excited thinking that this is one that you are going to travel on, and that you're going to get to experience this high-tech ship that looks even nicer than the one that you have back in the original timeline. But you're going to keep going down, and Jara Khan's going to say, no, those vessels don't go out to where we're going. We're going to need to go a bit lower to find something that can take us to our destination. You're going to see some older looking ships. They definitely look space-worthy, like they can fly, but they definitely don't look as shiny or as nice or as sleek as the others. You get within the hangar area, and you're maybe hiding behind some crates, maybe looking from the outside behind the fence, and you see mechanics moving around. People are working on the ships. Some people are loading cargo up and taking it back to the hangar door of the ship and loading that up. And you see a captain. You know he's the captain because he's got a hat with a feather sticking out of it, a half-shoulder cape, some boots, and all of this is brightly colored. Nobody else is wearing clothing that is that expensive, so you know that's got to be the person who gets paid the most, which is going to be the captain. So you see all of these things moving around, you see different pieces of machinery. Some things are hanging from the ceiling being worked on, others are just up in storage. And this is all scattered about the area. Jar Khan is going to look over at you and she's going to say, I'm not sure how to proceed. I'll be honest, I'm not the best at this stealth element. What do you think? What should we do? How are we going to get on board? That ship will take us. And she's going to wait for you to make a decision. It looks like she's needing you to kind of hop in here. So let's take a look at our challenge. Oh. If you saw that, don't cheat. I accidentally pressed the next button. So try not to use any information that you got from that, and don't go back and pause it. How do you get on board this ship? Do you sneak in on one of those stacks of cargo? Maybe you're going to get inside one of those cargo boxes and nestle down. You could try that. Maybe you're going to make a distraction and stow away on the ship. Like I said, there's lots of machinery being worked on. Maybe you cut a wire. Maybe you set something to spark or smoke. There's lots of different things that you could try, and then you can stow away while the distraction is happening. Or do you just want to walk up to the captain and tell him that you need a ride? Ask what you can do. Take a moment to consider if you're going to try to sneak in, hiding in some cargo, if you're going to try to make a distraction and stow away, or if you're going to talk to the captain who's just walking around. Consider what your character would do, not just what you think is the most successful or most likely to succeed option, but what would your character do? Is your character a talker? Is your character stealthy? Is your character good at tinkering with things? Maybe your character's good at breaking things. Maybe your distraction is you just go up and you break something and it starts falling down. Take a moment to consider, but if you're not ready, go ahead and pause here, and we're going to continue on to our difficulty and result. Alright, difficulty and result. Each of these actions are all starting at a medium difficulty, but there is a chance that the difficulty of the first and the second, sneaking in or making a distraction, could go up, depending on if you fail the other option, which is talking to the captain. But let's start on the left and work our way to the right. If you sneak in on a stack of cargo, you are going to, if you fail, you're going to get on the ship, and they're going to take off, and they're going to leave atmosphere, and then they're going to start doing their inventory. And maybe you didn't get out quickly enough, maybe you're trying to get out when they catch you, but as they're doing inventory, they are going to catch you in the cargo, and they are going to take you to the captain, who's going to say that, all right, we're going to turn you in when we get back, but for right now, slap some bracelets on them, keep track of them, and get them swabbing the decks. Alright, and you're going to be put to work cleaning this ship until they're going to turn you in. They captured you, and there were so many of them, you didn't want to fight. There might have been too many to defeat, and you also know that this is their ship. Jar Khan is a Jedi, and she wouldn't have fought here either. So you are captured, and you're on the ship. But Jar Khan says it's okay because you'll still get to your destination. You just have to figure out how to escape once you're there. Alright, if you succeed, you're going to get out at the right time, you're going to find the right place to hide, you're going to avoid their detection, and you happen to hide in a box that was moving croissants, so you now have a very yummy salted and buttered croissant that you may eat whenever you would like. Our next option is making a distraction and stowing away. So there are a lot of different ways you could do that. You could have cut a wire or something. However, if you fail, your distraction is going to work, but it's going to work way too well, and something is going to get destroyed. Maybe you cut a wire to make something hang a little bit, but you accidentally cut too many, and it's going to fall and crush some materials. Nobody is going to get hurt, but there's definitely going to be some property damage. So maybe your character feels kind of guilty about this because stuff that people were working on is now destroyed. You're going to see people running with fire extinguishers to go put things out if there's a fire. So yeah, if you fail, the distraction is going to be a little too good, but you are going to get onto the ship and be able to hide away in a corner. If you succeed, you're going to get on the ship and you're going to hide away, and nothing is going to get destroyed other than what you destroyed for your distraction. So it should be more limited. Alright, that's a medium difficulty. Next, talking to the captain. Okay, so for talking to the captain, it's also a medium difficulty. If you fail, he's going to say, no, I'm not interested. And now those other two options are going to be hard instead of medium. That's why I put the hard there in the middle of the slide. So if you talk to him and fail, he's going to say, no, not interested in taking a couple of kids. Go on, get out of here with ya. And you, like I said, can try those other options, but they will be hard. If you succeed, they're going to say, well, who am I to say no to a couple of young kids who are looking to get out and experience some adventure, am I right? You can work, can't you? Okay, we got some decks that need cleaning, so get in there and get a mop. And you will be welcomed onto the ship and immediately be given a standard issue mop and shown where you should mop through. So what did you do here? Did you sneak in on a stack of cargo? Did you make a distraction and stow away? Or did you talk to the captain and just get invited onto the ship as a worker? Take a moment to record what happened. Maybe you want to pause here for a second, record what happened on your character sheet. We'll move on to the ship to end our story for today. The cabin inside where you're given, maybe this is the hall where you are working if you have been captured, or if you walked on to the ship and have been invited on as a worker. You are mopping these hallways. You can see that hallway all the way down the left. You're mopping all of this. And once you are done mopping, you will be given half a croissant. Someone is going to come, they have teared half a croissant off, and they will give it to you. So you have half of a salted and buttered croissant from Coruscant that you can use whenever you would like, or eat whenever you would like. If you snuck on that wall on the right, there's a false panel, and you are hiding inside there. Maybe someone's mopping, and you have to hide as they move by. So you're going to have to figure out how to survive on this ship while they're traveling through. You're going to have to maybe get some food, sneak into a cabin area. You'll see. We'll have to end our session here as we find out what is going to happen next time. Will you make it to the planet in time? Will you arrive there before Zeldra? Or will Zeldra get there and will time repeat itself just as it has already happened? Come back tomorrow and we will see. Thank you for joining us today. I appreciate you being here. I hope you enjoyed our quest. We got to move through the city, do some crazy acrobatics, and you're going to get possibly some rewards from that. So very exciting stuff to see what happens next time as you try to stop Zeldra from falling to the dark side and save Jara Khan's friend. Awesome. So man, I really love doing these interactive quests. It's so fun for me to be able to share kind of a simple role-playing program with other people. Role-playing is something that's very near and dear to my heart. I love it, and you're able to do so much with it. And so it's cool to be able to give you a taste of what role-playing is. But real role-playing and the true benefit of role-playing comes from the interaction between players, between other players, and between you and the game runner. So I'm really excited to tell you more about our Star Wars program that's actually starting this week, today. It will run Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday. Mr. Walter from Around the World with Mr. Walter is running a Star Wars role-playing program where you actually get to come in and you get to play a bounty hunter, or you get to play a smuggler, or a colonist, or an engineer, or a hired gun. There's all these different careers that you can choose and characters, and you try to kind of I don't want to reveal too much about the story, but you work together with a team to accomplish some goals, and it is so much fun. I'm going to be popping in as a player, most likely a couple times, just to play again, because Mr. Walter's a very fun game runner. So if you haven't checked that out yet, we will have links available to that, and you can also reach out to me with any questions about that you have. You will need an internet connection, but if you're watching this, you should have that, and a mic so that way you can talk to us. But even if you don't have that and your typing skills are proficient or good enough, then you can use that. So that is it. I want to tell you just a little bit about that role-playing program so you can come out and you can join it and you can try role-playing in full force. It's a ton of fun. So thank you for tuning in to some real inspired learning. Remember to always pursue your passion until it becomes your talent, whatever that is, whether it be singing, writing, dancing, whether it be chemistry. Whatever it is for you, pursue that until it's your talent, until it's something that you can really work with and be proud of, which you should be proud of whatever you do. Just the effort and learning in itself is a lot. So up next is Round the World with Mr. Walter, followed by the Steam Train with Mr. Dorian, a New Minds lesson from the vault, and then we end the day with our CEO, Ben Cook. So if you haven't checked out any of these other shows on newminds.tv, definitely do. They are all right here. At newminds.tv, we have all of our episodes saved, and on Facebook, we have all of our episodes saved in playlists. So check those out, and we will catch you tomorrow for the next quest. Thank you for being here today.